and welcome to Resolution Games. My name is Tommy Palm. I'm the CEO and co-founder of this studio situated in the heart of Stockholm, Sweden. With me today I have Mathieu Castelli, a French game designer. You moved your family here to Sweden recently to start to work here as a creative director, and you pitched this idea Blaston that we're going to talk about to me, and you made a quick prototype during the summer, and we've been loving it ever since. And then we're soon about to launch, and I thought we would speak a little bit more about this. So how did you come up with this idea from the beginning?
I think it's very natural in VR to be wanting to be next to the opponent, to try to have physical activity, and VR for that is a dream. Because we, as you were writing on that Times article, 2012, you were saying all those location-based games are great, and we see it with the kids nowadays with Pokemon Go. This is great, you get the walking, you get some physical activity, you get some real-world interaction, but in the end, your eyes are glued to the screen, and that limits a lot in the types of movements you can do with this. Running is almost out of the question. Any violent action, it's going to be feeling frustrated. And so VR is unlocking that. It's unlocking this possibility of forgetting the device and being physically active. So that was me. You pulled me up from the mobile game world. You dropped me here in this creative studio and you said, okay, come on, have ideas. But the first thing that struck me is that one-to-one scale matching of physical activity. And that's how Blaston came. If you combine the power in VR of feeling presence, everybody talks about that. So you feel you are next to someone. So you want to make a game that you're going to be next to your opponent. That's the first. Like ping pong is better than tennis in that respect. And I don't think it's a hazard that there's two hits in VR are ping pong games, because ping pong has that vibe. And so that was one. And the other angle was, again, I was just saying, you get the natural sports motion in VR. So the two together very quickly narrowed down to, okay, let's just put people on a podium 1 meter apart. They almost can touch, but that almost makes what we want. We don't want to go into sword fighting, because then you feel the limitations of sword to sword fighting, which can be sweaty. Like you try Iron Lights right now on the Quest Store. You can make it's physical. Any super hot fan like me will tell you after half an hour you're sweaty, but the contact is frustrating. You never get that force feedback. Range weapons are fine for that, and so you get as close to as to not be frustrated by not being able to touch. And that was the setup for the gameplay, and we took it from there.
And one thing I absolutely love when I tested the prototype in the beginning is that it really made me feel like that scene in Matrix where Neo is dodging the bullets, and you can kind of feel the superpower of actually using your whole body. And one of the things that I'm very excited about is if you see really accomplished gamers on the PC or mobile side or playing on the console, they sit still. It's not so fun to watch their interactions, but in VR, as you said, you use the whole body, especially if you design a game where you really need to move. It's so much more enjoyable to watch somebody play, and you can see that they're having fun, right? They're laughing out loud, you're moving and you're interacting. So this is one of the things that I think VR is absolutely fantastic for, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of things coming out in the future that kind of follows this paradigm of just being super intuitive as you use your hands. In Blaston, you reach out and pick up guns, and there is a fair bit of tactics in the game as well. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I will. I just wanted to riff on what you just said, which is, and it talks about the sports relation to VR. When kids learn how to play a sport, the first thing you hear the coach try to transfer to them is self-perception of their body positioning and self-perception of timing as well. So they need to coordinate limb movements and center of mass. That's key to unlocking your enjoyment of the sports. And what's interesting, discussing and playing, now we've been playing Blaston for a year and other games, but it applies to other games as well, which is the number one skill you have to learn when you do those VR sports games is perception of your own self in VR. Like, how do you how does your avatar body follows your real body? Because it's not perfect matching. We don't have belt sensors, we don't have feet sensors.
Not yet.
Not yet. It will come,
Yeah.
and then will be perfect. Until then, and even in then, like a kid playing judo has to learn, or doing somersault. It's so hard to learn even your own body. Where is it? So this skill is the first thing you have to unlock in those VR sports games. In terms of tactics, touching back on this, the number one tactic will be where to position yourself. As all VR game developers, we are constrained by the average size available to people in their homes. And we've narrowed it down to something like 1.5 square meters. It's reasonable. You push a few chairs and you quickly get that space. But within that space, there is a huge difference between being at the front or in the back. One reason for this in our game, Blaston, is because the bullets have deceleration. So if you're at the front and the opponent's at the front, the bullet will still be very fast. If you step back in a more defensive position, the bullets decelerate, and by then it's Matrix style dodging. It's going to be enough. You have the time to take an incoming salvo of bullets as a mini puzzle to solve very quickly. Okay, I'm going to position myself like this, I'm going to skip it here, turn around, grab and shoot. Yeah. And so that's the type of tactics we see that connect to the body.
I love how bullet hell has been like a genre in arcade games for forever, and here you can really be in that and kind of make your body dodge between it. That's such a cool aspect of it. How long can you play for before you get really tired in this game?
Really tired is a fluctuating thing, of course. I would say you do one match, you feel I feel like the same as an intense Smash Bros session. Your heart pulse is a bit high. You feel a bit of those tinglings of adrenaline starting to flow. By the third or fourth match, you feel a little tingly of sweat appearing on your back. And most people, by the 10th match, they are panting. You are exhausted, and you need to do a switch sides kind of pose as in tennis. Yeah. I think it's interesting here that to imagine that somebody with a better physical condition gets that advantage, but because it's still a game, a gamer will have another type of advantage. Let's say we've had some of the teams, people who spend more time playing League of Legends than tennis, and then we have the reverse profile as well. And we see they compete with each other on different grounds. And so it's interesting to see that both the tactical, the quick thinking, the anticipations that gamers are so good at, so can be balanced a bit by the physicality where maybe they've been a bit lacking. And it's a joy to see those two worlds interact in this new wave of sports that makes where the body starts to matter.
Yeah, and I think that game designers need to use our ability to make things very addicting and very alluring, and make people do things that they should be doing. And sports is one of these things where your body feels so much better if you're moving every now and then. And this is going to be really fun to see this game coming out and meeting an audience and see how it performs in the wild.
That there is the health benefits for sure, but as game makers, body movements are so reinforcing the fun perception because all your senses get more alert from the adrenaline inflow. The heart rate makes your excitement feels so more vibrant.
Yeah.
That I think it's helping us also in reverse. It's not only games helping the health, it's also health helping the gamers feel that excitement again. Like the first time I went and played VR games that have some of the components of the games we're working, suddenly I felt something, this vibrancy, this vibrant feeling. I haven't felt that in a long time. You can, as you grow old, you can start feeling a bit jaded. It takes something really exceptional to make you feel amazed like a kid. And I think whilst you're moving, your brain is, no, you're enjoying this, telling you that so much more strongly. So it's interesting to see that reverse kick as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I recognize that very strongly when the Nintendo Wii came and they had this Wii Sports game, and you all of a sudden were playing with your family friends. You don't need a lot of movement in order to kind of reinforce that feeling of competition and just get you really energized. And that's an aspect that I think games haven't explored that much. I mean, the Nintendo Wii helped with the motion stick, but it didn't really become a sustainable phenomena. But with VR, I definitely think that we have it here because we're now tracking hands, and you're gonna move them around quite a lot. And eventually, I think we're gonna get to better body tracking as well. Well, with that said, thank you very much. We look forward to see what's going to show up on the rest of the conference. Thank you.
Remember, never stay still. See you soon in Blaston!